Okay, so now we're going to move on to biceps. So, I'm going to do this a couple of ways, and it's going to be pretty full on. It's not much weight, but especially when you're doing a lot of blood volume stuff, and insane contractions, you know, slower on the eccentric phase. So that way you get more muscle fibers recruiting and tearing them apart, so the bigger muscle growth. So, I'm going to use fat grips. And then I'm going to go to bands, that way I'll get a little bit of a rest. But what I'll do with the bands, because I have to pull them especially, they'll get harder as I pull up here, I'm actually building, I'm giving my muscles a bit more of a rest down low, but up the top here is going to be more exhausted. So the idea is to go as a full range, increase the strength and get the mind-muscle connection used to doing that. And then build up, give the body a bit of a rest down here, but make it still hard for the body up here with a full range of motion. And then go back to the dumbbells, but without the fat grips on. So that way, then I'll do a full range of motion. That way it's going to be a little bit easier to do the motion properly, but it'll just be a little bit harder at the top. So you're developing a good way to build up strength in all areas, to do with not using the forearm so much, and then strength curves, and then using the forearm a little bit more without the fat grips, just to make it that little bit easier. And safer too, because you've got to remember, even though it's light, but you want to remember that you got to listen to the joints, especially, and tendons. They will tell you, you know, yeah. So, start, chest out, shoulders back. And when you do that, so come up here, and then internally rotate down, turn the hands into neutral. It's just this. And what I'm trying to do is lift bottom part of my biceps to the top, and nothing else. And this is 11 kilos in each arm, which is jack all weight, but without swinging, and without lifting the shoulders and the fat grips. Whoa. That's just pure isolation. It's being able to push through the burn. The mind can easily give up. If you keep going through the burn and have control, and it's not heavy, you'll be safe. Yeah. Oh. But I'm about doing the form and the technique right, even if I'm going to go to failure. And there's no point going stupid and crazy and hurting yourself. You know, oh, the old school ways, probably the worst ways, literally, to train. And I think the biggest thing we need to remember is those Arnold Schwarzenegger days. You know, now with biomechanics and physics of how everything works, you know, it's just bands and cables and hydraulic machines are definitely the way to go these days. You know, whenever you do stuff that is dumbbell, bar based, anything like that especially, there's too many muscle groups that come into play, and there's too much energy being forced on other muscle groups when there's no need to. So this is why I'm doing these videos. So you just get an idea. So now, okay, that's a lot easier. Okay, so without, whoa, no it's not. Without the fat grips, but so from side on. Okay. And that's about that. So that way, now you can see what that's like, and hopefully you got a good bit of information. And yeah, cool.